Hey guys, so I just, during this dyno test, I want to go over and show you guys, just kind of look at each pipe that we have in depth, show you the quality, what I like, what I don't like about them, where they're made and whatnot. So we'll start with this too fast pipe. So these are the most current exhausts we have on the market. So these are made in Italy. Took us about a year and a half worth of back and forth prototypes, tons of money spent, and some failures, but we got it dialed. This fits, as you can see, the Dio. It also fits DD50, ZX50, Kimco. It also fits the AF16 style Honda Elite 94 to 01. But so far, this pipe has the highest horsepower out of all of them. And everything is really nicely made. This is a CNC fit. And we're gonna get stinger sections made as well for these, so you can run either or. But anyways, Italian made, really nice brackets. Everything fits perfect. Sounds really good. Really thick header flange to slip fit up here. And this is where your springs go and whatnot. So you've got room. There's no issues with clearance on this pipe. Yeah, so far this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one so far. So over here, it's kind of hard to see right now because this one's being tested. This is a PG flip cone, a PG long that's been taken apart, modified internally. Definitely performs a lot better than a regular PG. This is not something we sell. This is not something you can buy online. This is something that you have to buy, take it apart, modify it, re-weld it, put it back together. Said and done, you're gonna spend, 150 to 190 bucks on the pipe, and then you're gonna spend, if you have somebody do the work, you're probably gonna spend 100 some odd dollars, so you're essentially gonna be 250 bucks into this if you have somebody do the work. I don't know what they're charging to do this, but anyway, so just wanna show you that just because I was over here. Shop's a little bit of a mess because we were going hard with the dyno and stuff yesterday. So first, let's start off with the, so the Yasuni exhaust is something that I'm not making anymore, but this is a really, really powerful pipe, extremely good quality. This pipe, this in particular pipe on Jared's bike has been ridden for I don't know how many years, probably a couple, 2 or 3 years. And as you can see, they're really good. They're just good pipes. These are made in Spain. I've yet to see one crack, break. This, in my opinion, out of all the pipes, as far as like just general overall performance, longevity, and quality, I think Yasuni is the best. I think it's better than Polini, Malosi, Aero. I think Polini hands down makes the best. I think they make the best silencers, and just the thickness of the metal. You can hear the difference. This gauge of this metal is way thicker than anything else. So that, I'm not gonna redo these, I don't think, because they're a lot of work on my end. What I have to do, again, excuse us for the mess, but basically I have to make custom brackets. These are custom mounting brackets. And then these are the flanges. As you can see, this one's grimy because he rides the heck out of this thing. So, or he did ride the heck out of it. But I have these brackets made. So I have to have this piece water jet, and then I have to have it CNC'd. I have to have it welded, and it's actually cut and bent a little bit too. So it's kind of a nightmare. Give me a second. I think I got some grease on the screen. There we go. So yeah, this guy's a ton of work. So it's not as simple as just bolting on. You have to have custom parts to make it work. But that being said, that's one of my favorite pipes I've ever ran. This guy was made, oh, it's like there was something rattling around. No, this guy was made in Taiwan. So what you'll find is really, really thin flanges. This is really common. Not that this is not a bad pipe by any means. I'm just saying that this is kind of what you'll find when you get some certain things. Like this isn't a water jet cut piece. Not like it really matters. It would bug me if you're spending, $300-400 on a pipe. But I'm sure they perform good for the money. But you're gonna find stuff like, yeah, this isn't, it's obviously handmade. So those are some of the things you have to live with. this is likely not a water jet cut piece either. But my main concern about these pipes you're going to get from different areas is how thin these flanges are. I don't know why they're so thin, because it would cost another 45 cents to make that twice as thick. So we're going to compare real quick. We're going to compare. That's how thick a Yasuni flange is that we make. And we're going to compare it with this one. So you see, it's not even, it's probably a good 5 or 6 times thicker. And when I made these, we recessed these so the nuts fit in place, so these lock in the perfect position. So when I make things, when Scooter Swap Shop makes stuff, this is how we make them. So that's why they're a little bit more expensive, because this is a piece that, really thick piece of steel, and then we recess the nuts on the inside, where with this, obviously that's huge. And that's gonna be the same way. Even the arrow's thicker, for sure. The arrow's definitely thicker. You're not gonna have an issue that's about half as thick as the one we do. This is overkill. This is mega overkill, but that's how we like to do it. So the arrow is gonna be a flange that's not gonna bend. Something like this, if you use the wrong gasket, that's gonna bend, and once it bends, you're never gonna get it to seal right again. The PGs, okay, so getting off topic. So that pipe was made by somebody I knew in Hawaii, and he had it made in Taiwan, I believe. So overall quality, that seems better than these. These are really popular. These are what people, these are made in the Philippines. They do run pretty good, and some, they're not all gonna run the same. There's a lot of different styles, pipes that come out of the Philippines, but I used to buy these and I got burned really bad. I was buying, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000 worth of these things at a time, and then they sent me a bunch and every single one cracked, and he wouldn't give me my money back. It was a whole long ordeal, so major loss for me. So I don't buy any pipes out of the Philippines anymore, because for one, I think the quality is really poor. They do perform, but be prepared to spend $300 to $400 for something that is like this quality. So this is kind of what you get. And as far as the flanges goes, these are paper thin. Can't quite see, but this one's already tweaked and already bent. But this is what you get for that much money. I'm not gonna say they don't perform good, because they do perform good, but I guess myself, actually here, get close up. I just kind of want to show you guys the difference in pipes. Nothing against the owner of these pipes. I've ran these. I like running them. They run really good on certain setups, but I have a really hard time paying what they charge for this type of quality. And this one's a little bit rougher, obviously, because it's been in a harsh environment in Hawaii. So obviously they don't come rusty like this, but that's just what you get. And again, really, really thin flanges. That's my biggest pet peeve, is these paper thin flanges. You see, it's already bent. It's these paper thin flanges that really bug me on these pipes, because they leak. But you can see the quality of this is a million times better than the quality of this. So it's a whole heck of a lot better. So if you're gonna spend the money, that's a perfect example. Let's get the, so when I was selling these Yasunis, they were about the same price as these Philippines pipes. And this is what you get. Again, this thing's been beat up, but it's completely, there's like so much buildup on this pipe. It's just carbon, but much different. It's badged. It's a really nice pipe. So Yasunis in my book are the best. So those run, the Scorpions do run good. They're not a top end pipe really, but they're all gonna be made a little bit differently, and the quality is really, really poor on those pipes. So you're gonna spend a lot of money, and that's gonna be the quality you're gonna get. The Arrow, in my opinion, is probably the best bolt on and go for anybody running anything from a NCY, a Narku, Polini. It's a really good pipe, has a lot of mid. It's not a top end screamer, but you can't really have something that's gonna make a lot of torque and a lot of mid and also have a lot of top end. So this pipe, we've sold a lot here where people come in, they want full builds. We do a Corsa, Melosi cast or something like that, a Polini 21 or 24, and CVT, and right out of the box, they pull extremely hard. They're just a good pipes. I think this pipe and this one are probably the best sounding pipes in my opinion. These sound like dirt bikes, where the PGs, those to me, when I hear them run, it sounds like somebody just cut a big hole in the header and they have a big giant leak. They're really weird. Those pipes are some of the worst sounding pipes in my opinion. These are different. They're really tinny. If you're okay with an extremely loud pipe, these will do that for you. They're really loud. This style, they're really, really tinny. I'm not a big fan. Just everybody has their own personal preference. Some people like this sound better. These are a deeper sound, but they're just weird. They're an odd sound. And maybe it's because I've been so used to running chamber pipes. They just sound odd to me. But these things sound really, really good. The Arrow, they had some flaws. We got the canister fixed, but threadlock this. I tell people all the time, threadlock this and threadlock this, because they shipped and shipping and whatnot. The other thing is, keep an eye out for this tab. I'm working with Arrow right now, or should I say arguing with Arrow right now about making this stronger, because that metal is so thin. So don't force it, don't stress it, because that is a weak point of this pipe. I've never seen one break. I've never seen one crack. What I have seen happen is that this tab will break and the silencer will fall off, and you run it over, and it's a bad deal. So keep an eye on this. And if it was me, and if you have a welder, you don't mind doing work, I would run an extra bead on here. I've done it for locals here, but I'm still working with them, or should I say, not arguing, but pushing really hard to get them to fix this. We already got them to fix the inside, but now we're working on this to get them to fix this. So it will happen. We're working on it. Just another thing that we do that other companies don't is when things fail or we see defects, we push really hard to get them fixed, where other companies you're buying from, they don't care. They're just going to sell you a product. They're not going to warranty it, and they're not going to put the hours and hours into trying to make a product better, which benefits everybody. So when I make these, when you see these change and you see these stronger, and the other people on eBay are selling them, it's because ScooterSwapShop took the time to have all this done. And the only reason these pipes are back is because we got them. We got these brought back, and then the only reason these are changed to longer ones, so these were vibrating out and they were falling out. The inner tube was too short. They didn't have enough thread. These would still be falling off on people if we didn't put the time in to have these made longer. So these are fixed now, but this tab is a problem. I wouldn't say it's a problem. I've been running one on my bike for two years and I haven't had an issue, but just keep an eye on it. That's something you want to watch out for. Yasuni, there's no problems with the Yasuni. There's not really any problems with these per se, except for the flanges. Just be aware. These dent really easy. I will say, if you have a bike that's slow or a stroker that's slow, you're gonna crush this pipe. It's just a matter of time, especially stroker ones, because they're just like super thin and light. So those technically aren't made for street use. They're made for racing. So so next we've got a PG long and the PG short. Okay, so these are made in Taiwan. They're $150 to $175-ish range. These guys are, how should I say this? They're good for what you're spending. If you don't want to spend it, and that makes sense. If you want to spend $150, $175, you don't really care about having a lot of top end, this is perfect. These probably also work great on stock cylinders as well. I've ran Arrows on stock cylinders, V8s, and these pipes. These are going to have low and mid, but no top end. So, for instance, our dyno testing, the Yasuni was 10.3 and like 5.5 foot-pounds. The Arrow was 9 point something in 5 foot-pounds, and these were like 7.3 and 3.5 foot-pounds. So these by far are the lowest horsepower producing pipes out of everything here. So that's kind of the main thing of the main goal of what we're doing here is showing the peak horsepower of all these pipes. My guess is if we really put more time into tuning, they would all be a little bit higher, but it should be pretty close with what we're doing. We're just doing some tweaks to get the bike to work properly with each pipe and CVT tuning. So the one thing I don't like about these pipes, looks like that's got maybe a crack there, or a leak, but again, these have really thin flanges, and these have, can't hear it, but these have baffles in them that fall apart and they rattle. That's the thing, and they don't care to fix it or do anything about it. So I bought these pipes a while back directly from PG, and they showed up with, and these are used, of course, these are rough used pipes. They showed up with this weird rust on the outside, on the inside, top to bottom, rust. Brand new. As a dealer, I shipped them right from Taiwan. They didn't care to do anything about it, and I got a bunch of dry face that looked like they were kicked around on the shop floor for 5 years. One exploded, so I had major problems with them as a company. I do like their cranks. I do like a lot of their products, but when it came to delivering a quality product to me, it was just a complete joke. I mean, some of them had this much rust, not quite this much, but basically this weird stuff. They had this all over the outside of the pipe, and it was brand new. And then they gave me black ones. They gave me black PGs where they had it looked like they had rattle canned it, the entire pipe, or powder coated. I don't know, but they literally went like the sticker was baked off and peeling off and stuff. So it was just, it was really, really bad. They didn't want to do anything about it. So I don't support PG just because of the fact that they didn't really take care of a customer, I guess I should say. So if you're gonna ship something that looks if you're gonna send me something that's not new, or it doesn't look new, or it's not something that I can sell, I don't want it. So a lot of times you'll have to drill these out too to get these to fit. Cylinders will be a little bit different, angles and whatnot. So the nice thing about the Arrow and the Asuni is they have a slip fit at the exhaust here, so they will leak. It's really common that they leak. You can fill these with Honda Bond, but that slip fit takes a lot of stress off the pipe when you're mounting it up. These guys, if your cylinder is tweaked a little bit one way or the other, because you do have a little bit of left to right movement on the cylinder studs, and you tweak it one way, you're eventually going to bend this flange or damage your cylinders. So common thing with these guys is when you put them on, be really, really careful, because if you tweak them one way or the other, you're putting a lot of stress because you don't have any play between here and here. So some cylinders are higher, some are lower. Some of the flanges are going to be a little bit different. A Taiwan cylinder is going to be different than an Italian cylinder. It's going to be different than a stock one versus, an Airsol or Narku or Polini or whatever. They're all going to differ a very small amount. So don't be surprised if when you put this on, you're going to have to tweak it, bend it a little bit. But I've had issues with putting these things on. I've had to put spacers on them and whatnot because they're not true, and it may be just a combination between the cylinder and the pipe together. But hopefully that explains kind of what's going on. The Too Fast made the most horsepower. We're going to go over all that. The Yasuni was next. The Arrow and these pipes were about the same. Horsepower was the same. This made less torque. The Arrow made more torque. We have yet to test these two guys. The PGs were the turds of the group by a long shot. And this was 10.9. I think we saw almost 11 with it, so it'd be pretty easy to hit 11 with that pipe. The flip cone, the PG actually did better than expected. It still made really low torque, but the difference between the flip cone and the regular PG long was huge. It was like 2.5 horsepower, so pretty impressive, and it sounds a whole heck of a lot better than a regular PG. So stay tuned, subscribe. We're just gonna do the rest of this today and put together some videos and some charts and whatnot. And then I think we got a Pyarel and a Polini pipe coming. So Polini like this, although I've salvaged that one for parts. But I think the Polini pipe and the Pyarel are gonna be right up there with the Yasuni and the Too Fast. They're really, the Pellini's a really powerful pipe. So stay tuned, and we'll do some more videos today. Thanks, guys.